Welcome to the Business Reignitor series, episode 7. I get asked quite a lot from business owners for ideas of how to grow their business. So, in this series, I look at the different types of business that we're interested in partnering with to talk through what I do with each business to help it grow and dominate its local market. During my career, I've grown multiple businesses into multi-million pound, 7 and 8 figure revenue businesses across multiple industries, and this is the same process I used with those. So during this series, I'll pick a random company off the internet and I do a deep dive into what I'd do with that company if I owned it or if I was running it myself. In this video, I'm going to be talking about an interior design business, so let's get into it. So in this video, we're looking at a company called Head Interiors, based in Johannesburg in South Africa. Now, I don't know this company, I don't know anyone inside it. I've never come into contact with this business before, and they aren't paying me to promote the business. So I'm basing all my growth suggestions on assumptions, all based on what I can see on their website and all the places on the internet. Now, obviously, if I was actually inside this business, I'd probably choose a few different or additional strategies than what I'll talk about in this video. Now, none of what I talk about is meant to be derogatory in any way, and it's not intention to cause any kind of damage to the business. If you're a client of this business, please don't let my suggestions determine whether you decide to work with them or not. And if it's relevant, please do your own due diligence on the business as well. Likewise, nothing in the video is an endorsement of the business either. So if you're interested in working with this company, the web address is on the screen. You can reach them through that, and I'm sure they'll appreciate the extra web traffic as well. One thing I've noticed from coming into contact with hundreds of businesses over the years is that most share the same issues and reasons why they just seem a bit stagnant in their growth. Now, I'm not saying this business shares those issues or that they're stagnant in their growth. I've not seen their accounts, so I don't know whether that's true or not. But what I've found, when a business is stagnant or is struggling to grow, it's because they just need what I call a bit of a reignition. Most of the time, it's not even a lot that needs doing with the business. It's normally just small tweaks or changes, and then it just takes off. But with every business, we have to start with where the business is right now. I'm not talking about their physical location, although that comes into it. I'm talking about every part of the business. So without doing this step, it's like having a map and saying you want to go to, let's say, Disneyland, Florida, but not knowing where you're at on that map to start with. How can your sat nav give you the directions of how to get there if it doesn't know where you're starting from? Now, there's a lot to go into with understanding where the business is, which for this business, we don't have access to a lot of information that we need to be able to do that properly at this stage. So we'll focus on what we know about them based on what's on the website. So what do they do? Who do they do it for? How big is the business? What assets does it have? How many staff are employed? Does it employ a management team or is it reliant on the owners? But everything starts with the customer, and you'll see what I mean by this as we move through this. When they know who the business is working for, the type of client and the sector, we need to understand what that client is buying during that journey to solving their problem. It's not just about what the client buys from them, it's about everything that they buy from every other company in that journey. So we can see this business has listed a number of projects and clients: Jones Lang LaSalle, Innovation Group, Dimension Data, as well as various hotel groups and private homes. So we want to imagine, how can we maximize what this group of clients spends with this business? So with this business, the products and services it provides are interior design services, procurement and contracted tendering. It also provides furniture. Now, if I were growing this business, I'd add a number of offerings to the business. I'd start by adding a branding service. This means clients can showcase their brand through their properties. And next, I'd add architect services, because if the client wants to do more than just the interior design of the building, such as building an extension or constructing a new building, then we've already got that relationship and that trust in place. And then third, I'd add building services design, because this just complements the interiors, and by adding lighting design as well as other services, it's just adding extra revenue streams. And then next, I'd look at adding landscape design as well, because this means you can bring the same feeling from the inside and expand it to the external areas of the property as well. And finally, I'd add facilities management services, because We can provide services for the whole life cycle of the building rather than just that project, which is more of an upfront piece. I wouldn't do these all at the same time. I'd bring each one in over time, probably taking between 3 to 9 months on each one, launching it, testing it, optimizing it, with that end goal of operating it almost like a standalone business with its own group of staff. Obviously, that doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. But I start with what I call test-bed customers. These are customers that are happy to be guinea pigs for the new offerings, and maybe they get the offering at the big discount. But what you use these customers for is to refine that product offering and iron out any delivery issues before you start to scale it to the rest of your customers. And after I know the process is working, I then dedicate someone to sell those new offerings to the company's existing customers. One thing I see over and over again, though, when a business creates a new product or service offering, they create something that their existing customers won't have a need for, or they aren't already buying. And this means they have to go out and then find a new set of customers to sell that new product to. I think it's caused because perhaps they look at what their competitors are doing. Maybe the competitor provides a service that their business doesn't. And so they automatically just create that product offering, but they don't have anyone to sell it to. So they have to start targeting new customers, which costs money, it eats up your cash flow, it reduces your profit margins, and it ends up taking much longer before you reach that same end result. It's much more profitable and faster to see those results if you focus on selling more to your existing customers. The next thing I'd do with this business is I'd look to create a new business providing a full shop fitting or fit out business for the client. This could act like a management contractor, bringing in other trades to do the project. But this means that the business would access other contracts that otherwise might not have employed an interior designer. And then second, I'd look at acquiring or merging with a facilities management business. And this would mean having access to a much larger pool of commercial clients, but it could sell facilities management service to each of its own clients and projects then as well. By having this added to the business, it means that they've also got a long-term arrangement and relationship with the client. So when a new project comes up, you've automatically got access to it. And the third, I'd look at creating a commercial real estate development business, because this would provide additional profits to the business, but also additional streams of work. And it also provides the client with a finished product that, if that's what they prefer. I'd also look at adding partnerships to the business. I start with adding partnerships with other design and management consultants, as that way the business should get referrals for new contracts from new clients. And next, I set up funding partnerships, which they would provide the financing to build our own projects. Finally, I set up partnerships with other locations, which would provide access to clients in those new locations too. Now, obviously, doing each of these activities or strategies will need a level of investment to bring it to life. Now, that might just be a time investment, but others might need significant financial investment. And from that investment, you'd expect to see a return on each activity. So we want to prioritize each of these strategies or activities according to a few criteria. So how much investment is needed? What are the expected returns? How fast will we see those returns? And how much cash flow or further investment will each of those need either in the future or to operate it within the business? And then the next question is, how much should the business invest into these different growth projects? And obviously, we don't know the numbers inside this particular business, so it really depends on the actual numbers within this business and what their growth projections are. But as a rule of thumb, I'd look to invest around 15 to 20% of the projected revenue for next year. So let's say the business has 2 million revenue now, and they want to reach 2.5 million revenue next year. Then the investment budget of between 375 to 500,000 is about right to do that. And remember, that's not a cost to the business. That's an investment. So you're actually building an asset that will keep generating that revenue over and over again each year. So we've created a number of strategies to focus on growing this business. Now, the problem that I see with most businesses that try to do these strategies is they'll go off and they'll start trying to do it all themselves. And the problem with doing that is it becomes a distraction to your existing core business. In the various businesses I've been involved with myself, doing this, it was me and maybe a small group of people that focused on doing this growth plan, while the rest of the business continued to be run by people that were dedicated to do that. And you have to really think about these growth projects or these growth activities like you're creating a special task force. And that special task force is going to go out there and create that new thing, whatever that thing is, whether it's a project or a business. To give you an example, if you think about Apple, now Apple have shops and they have people that look after that manufacturing of those products, but they also have a completely separate group of people that focus solely on designing and creating new products. That team of people, they don't do anything else. They don't get involved in fixing people's faulty phones. They don't build iPads. They don't build laptops. They don't work in the shop selling things. They work on designing and creating new products. Some of those products won't even be available to buy for the next 5 years. But that's how every business should think about this. Apple might be a big business now, but it was the same when they first got started. They always had one group of people that would be building those computers, but then they'd have a small group of people that was creating the next product. And this is what we do. We're like that special task force in a business. So the final question is, how does this business go about doing these strategies? Now, we use a lot of different frameworks and tools that we've created over the last 30 years of doing this in our own businesses. A lot of these frameworks and tools are available through our website or through courses, books, and videos that we've created. But the intention of doing these videos is to attract suitable partners to us, where if you're aligned with what we're doing ourselves and where we want to go ourselves, then we'll work with you and we'll do this process with you as a joint venture. So if that sounds interesting, the place to go first is our website. I'll leave a link in the description and you can reach us there. If you haven't seen my latest books, I'd highly recommend you read these, The Momentum Framework and my most recent book, Sustainable Community, where I go much deeper into using these different strategies. I'll leave a link in the description for those as well. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you got some value from this video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.